Hey guys, what's up? It's a Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite albums, and today I'm going to do an album review on the latest Toriena album, Toriena Makes Me Smile. So, Toriena is Shimizu Sae, a J-pop chiptune hardcore breaks hardcore EDM artist from Kyoto, Japan, and this is her latest album. Last year, she released the album Pure Fire, which pretty much lives up to its name. It is Pure Fire. It's basically one crazily danceable, groovy, also hardcore and violent banger after another. And a year later, she had released another album. And wow, the efficiency. And I think in many ways, this album is so much more ambitious than Pure Fire. In Pure Fire, Shimizu Sae, aka Toriena, basically focuses on hardcore EDM and hardcore breaks, but she, before Pure Fire, had released music that also kind of dabbles into J-pop and chiptune, and on Toriena Makes Me Smile, she basically mixes and blends all the genres and types of music she's ever attempted and basically mix and mash them into one album with an intro and an outro. And the intro and the outro of this album are respectively index in and index out. The former starts off with these very dramatic choir vocals and baroque pianos, and then a beat just slapped on top of that. Theoretically, I think this is a really cool idea, but I think that the beat being slapped on top of the choir vocals is kind of lazy and not really all that great of an album opener. Same goes for Index Out, the outro for the album, which is basically 1 minute of music box music that's kind of dramatic, maybe a little bit eerie, and I thought it was kind of one note for this album, and also I don't think it's all that fitting because the rest of the album aren't really all that dramatic, but rather very violent, playful, fun, poppy, and crazy. But anyways, the second track is Judgment Baby, where we have these really rapid, high-speed breakbeats, these chipmunk shouts. Once again, these choir vocals, but mixed in a so much more synthesized and distorted way. And then we have these trap beats on top. And on this track, it sounds like three different things being mashed together without much in terms of chemistry or structure. So certainly the album didn't start off very strong. The opening couple tracks are a little bit rocky, but the rest of the album is surprisingly consistent and good. The third track, Identify, is a futuristic scratchy banger with these vocal samples that are kind of stuttering and fading, going up and down and being chopped up, and it sounds very nice. It just sounds really cool, and I just love how crisp the beats sound. The track Speed Dog sees the return of the chiptune. The whole track sounds like a really mind-bending and out-of-the-world video game that came out of the 90s. And I like the chipmunk rapping, I like the whole futuristic metallic vibe of the track. It is another really solid track. Then we have the track Hot Spots in My Head, which is the heaviest track on the entire album, with the crazy banging beats, the heavy distorted guitars, the very stark keyboards. In a lot of ways, this track reminds me of the album opener of the Justice album Cross, Genesis. It is very stark, very loud, and unapologetic. Then that is followed with the track Under the Skin, which has the very nice dizzying keyboards, which are very scratchy. That being said though, I wouldn't say this track is as good as the rest of the album. However, what follows Under the Skin is easily two of my favorite tracks on the entire album. The former is TV Boo, which features these very cutesy, snappy synths, these little chiptune licks in between the more meaty beat parts of the track. I don't know what happened on the second track, because for the rest of the album, Toriena successfully mixes different genres of music together very smoothly and very creatively as well. And on TV Boo, the chiptune part of the track and the hardcore EDM part of the track really transition well into one another. Not only that, I really love how crispy and stiff this track sounds. It's really robotic, and in the second half we get these very warped rubbery synths that's just blah, 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 and it sounds fire. And then afterwards we have the track C.Q.C, which is even better in my opinion, easily my favorite track off of the entire album, because this is the track where Toriena tries to mix some dramatic choir vocals with electronic music again, but this time so much better, and it actually worked and it sounds amazing. Of course, we have the very dramatic, very epic and kind of eerie choir vocals. We have the return of these organ pianos and strings, and then it sort of completely gets shattered with these very wild and violent hand claps, plus these very sassy chipmunk rapping, and then these pulsating keyboards that kind of reminds me of like No Love Deep Web era Death Grips. And then the whole thing is just one cacophony of noise and sass and edginess, and it just sounds freaking amazing. And also the rapping on this track is just I'm not gonna say it's good, but it just fits the tone of the track so well. Then we have the track Overload with its hard-hitting, noisy instrumentals and its skippy, grinding beats, and it is another really solid track. The track Hard Edge has a really raw and noisy quality to it, which reminds me a lot of Sophie's work in a good way. And we have the track Printf, which at first I didn't quite enjoy, but after a few listens I kind of appreciate it, because Printf sounds like Toriena actually sampled a printer, and the whole track is just these really off-kiltered and random and strange printer noises. It's very subdued and weird, plus these metallic rattling beats in the back, but after a while I kind of appreciate it for what it is. And the album ends off with Index Out. So yeah, overall it is a really good album. I like this even more than Pure Fire. I think they're both great, but what I like about this album more is that Toriena mixes more genres together, and successfully and smoothly so. So yeah, total friggin' album packed with bangers. I have nothing else to talk about. My favorite track here is C.Q.C, and my least favorite is Index In. I'm giving Toriena Makes Me Smile decent 8 out of 10. So, have you listened to this album from 1 to 10? How much did you rate it? Like, and subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching. I will be reviewing Injury Reserve, and then Clearance Clarity, and then Poppy very soon. And then I think I will be reviewing the Japanese rock band Bet Cover. I will be reviewing another hardcore breaks track album. I will be reviewing Imagine Dragons, James Blake, and that's it.